The truth is one. The wise perceive it in many ways. Cosmic reality is one. Every perception of reality is wise. All perceptions of the one reality are wise. So why conflict at all? Ekam sat vibrahai bahuta vadanti. Ekam sat vibrahai bahuta vadanti.
Namaste. Welcome to the Global Limitless Field meditation with Sri Krishnaji. We are delighted to connect with you from Ekam, the World Center for Enlightenment. Purnima, a disciple of Sri Preethaji and Sri Krishnaji, and I'll be with you to facilitate this experience. Today's wisdom and experience would lead you into a beautiful space of discovering sacred connection with the divine or the universal intelligence. So if you are ready, let us welcome Sri Krishnaji to lead us forward.
Namaste. How are you all? Today you will discover a sacred connection with the divine in this limitless field meditation. Let us talk about a historic meeting between Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, one of the greatest God-realized saints of India, and his most beloved disciple, Swami Vivekananda. This meeting was probably the first or second time Swami Vivekananda, who was then an 18-year-old skeptic, met the great master. Seeing Ramakrishna Paramahamsa immersed in samadhi or God consciousness, the young Vivekananda asked him, "Sir, have you seen God?" To this question, without batting an eyelid, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said, "Yes, I see him just as I see you, only more intensely." The sparkle in his eyes and the truth in his voice touched young Vivekananda's heart. Finally, Vivekananda found someone who could assure him from his own experience that God existed. This was the beginning of the spiritual initiation and journey that Swami Vivekananda had. And that was the foundation of all the great work that Swami Vivekananda contributed to the world. So, what is this experience of God? I have come across several people for whom thinking of God or the divine is a habit or a ritual. Either they are following what has been told in the scriptures or following what that tradition has handed down to them. Like my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents did this. And so I have to do this. That is why I chant the name of God. That is why I roll the beads. You do your prayers regularly. You do regular prayers. There is nothing wrong with following a ritual or tradition. Still, I want you to observe that there is no living experience of God behind that action. If it is just mere habit or coming from some kind of a habitual way of doing things. In that process, there is no feeling of God. The feeling of God that is listening to you is absent. Imagine for a moment Ramakrishna Paramahamsa or someone who has realized the presence of the divine performing the same ritual. A living experience of sacred connection flows through the entire activity. The whole ritual comes to life. Even when you offer the food to the divine as part of the ritual, you are like a loving mother who gives food to a child. The mother's heart profoundly desires that the child eats and feels happy and satiated. A ritual without a direct connection with the divine is a far cry from someone doing the same with the realization. I have also come across people for whom God is a belief that they hold on to blindly in moments of crisis. The idea of God gives them comfort and security in times of misfortune and loss. But their inner state is one of fear. They fear what might happen to them and what might happen to their family or their future. And unable to free themselves of this fear, they find temporary refuge in the idea of God. They hold on to this belief. Nothing will happen to me because God will protect me. Again, there is nothing wrong with this belief. But if you looked behind this belief, what is there is only an oscillation between desperation and hope, and not the living experience of God. If there was a living experience of God, living would be such an extraordinary experience. Because you know now how much the divine loves you, how much the divine listens to you. The divine is present with you. Your inner state will transform into one of joy, courage, gratitude, love. And if this happens, beautiful synchronicities and miracles will begin to unfold even without you asking. Then I have come across others who believe that God or divine is a superstition because the existence of God is not verified and proven by science. Well, science has not found all answers to all questions. We all know this. Science is evolving with humankind, even as the human mind and consciousness evolve. Let me give you some examples to understand this. In the 1600s, people believed that a newborn baby was a blank slate with no built-in mental content. But today, modern genetic research says that physical and mental traits are inherited from birth. We inherit not only from our parents and ancestors, but also our community's gene pool, our ecosystem. And not only that, every human being is born with certain innate tendencies that science has no clue about. Again, if you looked at our old view of the universe, that view was that universe is static and stationary. But in 1929, Edwin Hubble discovered that universe is not fixed. It is constantly moving. That we are living in an expanding universe. So, if you find yourself being caught in this category, that God is a superstition, then I would suggest you open your mind. Free yourself of fear or prejudice and become an explorer. One should not be a blind believer, nor should one be holding on to the idea of God as a refuge in fear, not live in the denial of the immeasurable. Shri Preethaji and I want to take you beyond the superficial beliefs into an actual, real experience of God. Your heart will open up to feeling how much the divine loves you and cares for you. More than a mother's love, a father's affection, a best friend's companionship, or a lover's sweetness. You will begin to see and feel a great sacredness towards life. Let me share with you a real life example. It's a beautiful example. This story is about a man suffering from an incurable skin disease. The doctors had told him that the disease would soon attack his heart and other internal organs, and that he was facing an inevitable end. He came on a spiritual journey to Ekam. Sitting in the limitless field and meditating, he experienced a powerful divine presence. He felt as if his fear of death that was weighing him heavily suddenly lifted off. He was free. He felt freedom. Then the presence appeared in his heart and engulfed his whole body. And in that moment, there was no body consciousness, no separation between him and the divine presence. He felt everything around him was the sacred presence. After this experience, that evening, as he walked to the dining, he experienced such intense bliss that his whole life felt so sacred and beautiful. He could not stop but laugh and be in bliss. That night he slept restfully like a baby. From the next day, the magic began to unfold. His skin started healing spontaneously. Now it is 95% healed. And he is still continuing to live in that sacred awareness of the divine. He is serving his community spiritually and living a fulfilled life. God is the sacredness you feel every moment of your life. The presence of love in every experience and the beauty in everything. This awakening to sacred connection is what Sri Preethaji and I want to give every one of you. We are deeply passionate about this. And if you too are passionate, your journey begins today. I would also say that continue the journey and let the flame that would be lit today in your heart grow and become a luminous light. Shri Preethaji will be leading you in the coming manifest into an extraordinary mystical journey of God realization. And also in the 5 awakenings with Shri Preethaji, you will experience the 5 states of God realization. Let us move into the limitless field meditation now.
We will now move into a meditation to experience the sacred presence of the divine in our hearts. During meditation, you will be guided into chanting the Omkara or Om. You will move through 4 stages of chanting. At the first stage, you will be chanting loudly. At the second stage, you will chant without making any sound, but only through the movement of your lips. At the third stage, you will chant mentally without even moving your lips. And at the fourth stage, you will become still and allow the mantra to echo in your heart. You may now gently close your eyes. Take 7 cycles of deep abdominal breaths. Be present to every inhalation and every exhalation. We will now chant Om and move through the 4 stages. You may begin to chant along with us loudly with your voice. Om, Om. now move into a silent chant. Chant mentally now. You may stay still and hear the chant of Omkara echoing in your heart. Bring your attention to the region in the middle of your chest. This space is called Hridaya Kamala, or the heart lotus. Feel your heart as a beautiful and a sacred space of worship. Your heart is a temple, an altar of the divine. Connect to the divine in any form or way close to your heart, and ask the divine to come and be seated in your heart lotus and fill your heart with sacred presence. Immerse in the experience of divine bliss. You may now gently open your eyes. We will now be listening to 3 tapasvis share their enlightenment experiences with us. Tapasvis are seekers who have taken a 4-week spiritual journey called Ekam Tapas. In Ekam Tapas, Shri Preethaji and Shri Krishnaji lead seekers through several peaks of enlightened states, experienced by the sages and seers of the past. After completing the 4-week tapas, these seekers return to their lives, carrying within them this extraordinary wisdom and the highest levels of consciousness. They become a blessing to their family, their loved ones, their communities, and this world. We will listen to 3 people share their experiences now. Lakshana from Bangalore, India, who is a classical dancer by profession. She is also the recipient of Rashtrapati Award, President of India, for being an excellent camper. We will then listen to the experience of Rosanna from Zurich, Switzerland. She works as a growth and people engagement manager for a blockchain company, and her greatest passion is the enlightenment of herself and of others. And then finally, we will also listen to Joy from Malaysia, who is a software engineer and a passionate spiritual seeker. So if you're ready, let us listen to them.
Another teaching, the Mukti Sutra, for me was really enlightening in that sense, because Krishnaji told us no matter how much you think you are progressing in life externally, but if you pause and look at your inner world, then you realize you haven't progressed from that feeling of lack that you have inside. And for me this was huge, because I could realize, for example, like I was craving to have a partnership, have a relationship, and when I had it, then I started craving of moving in together, because I felt, okay, that's the next step. And then I started craving having babies or buying a house, all those things that again were just a way to fill the void that I had inside. And then eventually, after the Mukti Diksha, I experienced this sense of pure witness. I was sitting in meditation and I was allowing all the senses to pass through me instead of try to cling at things around me. And that caused a very deep sense of calm and peace inside me, which then eventually culminated in this state of Mahashanti, so this state of incredible peace, where I even felt I was almost dying. A part of me was almost dying, but in this process there was no attachment whatsoever. There was just an incredible, pure, blissful, loving light that I was merging into. And I felt this also dissipated any fears of death, because if death feels like that, then it feels actually beautiful.
I've been seeking for enlightenment and liberations for a long time, and it wouldn't be possible to have such a huge liberation in this such a short period of time without this wisdom from Sri Krishnaji and Preethaji. This one is huge. I realize this is the cause of my disconnection. Every moment, everybody, everything I do, this is how I disconnect. And I will go into specifics of it, which is every person I see, I'll categorize them. For example, I see somebody and I'll say, she's ugly. It just runs so automatically and so quickly that I categorize her that way. And whenever a category is assigned, I will disconnect with her because I am not that. This happens to every person, my mother, my father, every person I've just met, anybody and anything. And that makes me disconnect from everything. But once I realize that, every time the categorization comes and I'll dismiss it right away because I saw it, the connection remains. And that changed everything because now I can connect with everybody. I can finally look into their eyes, feel them, and see them. So that was like a huge step closer to oneness. And I'm connected.
Ekam tapas has gifted me with various states. States which I can move into whenever I want, wherever I want. Without a fear, what if the state might go away from me? Nor with any puff that, wow, I'm in this state. It's just living, just being in this state. To state another state that I'm flowing in is the state of just flowing in life. What is this state? Well, imagine you're a bug, or imagine you're water, and you just flow. You don't stop by any rock. The water touches the rock, but it doesn't stop there. You just flow. Such was my state, where you touch, but still don't touch. When I walk down the corridor, I just flow. I pass by the trees, I pass by people, pass by the buildings, but nothing holds me. I just live, I just flow with it. Such a beautiful state to be in.
In a few moments from now, we will move into the Limitless Field meditation with Sri Krishnaji. We request you to kindly put your mobile phones on silence now. And we ask of you to be in total silence, mauna. Please do not interact with each other. Only if you are in silence can move inwards and experience the profound state of consciousness that the limitless field can give you. Kindly sit with your spine erect, either on a chair or on a cushion on the floor. Please do not move around. Rest your hands upon your thighs, with palms facing outwards. Let the tips of your index fingers touch the tips of your thumbs. Breathe slowly and deeply into your chest. You may have your eyes open now. Gently close your eyes. Receive blessings from Sri Krishnaji for you to have an experience of the divine within your heart, to feel the divine within you, and to have a sacred connection with the divine. Join your palms at your heart in prayer. Let us now immerse, repeat the Ekam mantra, Hamsa Soham Ekam. As you chant this mantra or listen to this chant, feel that you and the divine are deeply connected. The divine is in your heart, and you are in the heart of the divine.
Hamsa Soham Ekam. 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 Hamsa Soham Ekam.
Gently relax your hands. Hold your attention at the middle of your chest, at your Anahata chakra or your spiritual heart. Shri Krishnaji will lead you deeper into the limitless field consciousness. You will now feel, experience, and commune with the divine in your heart. Relax and allow the experience to unfold. You may slowly open your eyes. This is a very important announcement. Kindly make note that from the month of April, the Limitless Field with Sri Krishnaji would happen at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. India time. In the month of April, Manifest with Sri Preethaji will happen on the 10th of April. You will be journeying into manifest universal intelligence, manifest divine protection. For all international participants from the East, you will have your manifest at 6:30 a.m. India time. And for international participants from the West, your manifest would be at 10 a.m. India time. And for all the Indian participants, you will have your manifest at 5 p.m. India time. Wishing you all an abundance of blessings from the divine. Namaste.
शतमानं भवति शतयु पुरुषो शतीन्द्रिय आयुष्याविन्द्रिय प्रतितिष्ठति 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 शतमानं भवति शतयु पुरुषो शतीन्द्रिय आयुष्याविन्द्रिय pratittishtati. Shatamanam bhavati shatayu purusha shatindriya ayusha vindriya pratittishtati. Shatamanam bhavati shatayu purusha shatindriya ayusha vindriya pratittishtati. Shatayu purusha shatindriya ayusha vindriya pratittishtati. Shatamanam bhavati 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 shatayu purusha shatindriya ayusha vindriya pratittishtati. 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 Pratittishtati.
Yep.